Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you all are having an absolutely wonderful day. My name is James Goss. I want to welcome you here. This is Escaping the Neon. And basically, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a community-focused entrepreneur. I'm passionate about what I do. What I do is really hard to explain because there's a trillion different things that I do. I have my hands in so many different things. But I consider myself a multi-potentialite, which means basically, I love to have my hand in many different businesses and just kind of explore what I can start and just build a better life and build the life that I want. So not too long ago, I was working a 9 to 5, and I started this channel, Escaping the Neon, because I knew that I was gonna, I was on a good road to be able to leave using my side hustle. So I was able to do that, and basically, I'm just continuing to grow, continuing to build businesses, making connections, and trying to put out some valuable content and some things that will really make you think and really be helpful for, you in your everyday life. So something I want to talk about today, and this is probably a topic you've come across if you've kind of started on the self-help or the, motivation type of things, which oftentimes you're going to hear me recommend, like a Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, type of place to start your journey, because that's where I started my journey many, many years ago. And basically, hearing the things that they had to say really opened my eyes to a whole new way of thinking, and completely altered my mindset, and kind of moved me along this entrepreneurial path that I'm on now. So if you haven't checked that out, absolutely go check it out. But basically, so one of the things that you constantly hear is, everybody tells you to save money all the time, save money, blah, blah, blah. And you hear a bunch of crap about, if okay, so let's use, for example, Robert Kiyosaki. He says savers are losers, right? Because it's, you can't outpace inflation with a savings account anymore. It used to be that you could save your money, and, if you put it in a bank savings account, the amount of money you're going to have, is going to be, much greater, far greater than, inflation was at the time. So you're earning money. The theory has kind of changed now, whereas if you put your money in a bank savings account, the amount that you're earning on that money in the account is not going to outpace inflation. So your money just sitting there, really your money's losing value as inflation grows. And right now, we're in 2021. Inflation's going absolutely crazy right now. So I don't have the solid, figures in front of me, but if you're living here in 2021, you clearly know that inflation's going crazy. So it's the type of thing where, people say savers are losers, and while that may be true, that you may somewhat lose money, absolutely saving money is 1,000 times better when you're living paycheck to paycheck, and there's just a very small amount of money that you can save that's going to change a lot of things. So let's dive into what that amount is and what it can kind of change for you and what it can do for you. So first of all, the amount that's recommended is 10% of everything that you earn. So whether you have a salary and side hustles, whether you're just having a salary, whether you just are having side hustles, no matter how you make your money, 10% of every single thing that you earn needs to go back into your pocket. Primarily, you need to put that money into an account that you really never see, never look at, never touch, and you need to leave that for extremely hard times. If you really, 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 really fall on some serious, genuine trouble, it can be a fallback account, but really, for the majority of your life, you shouldn't even know the amount of money that you have in that account, in my opinion. But let me tell you kind of what this will do for you and what this will do for your mentality, because you'd be very surprised at how fast 10% of everything you earn adds up really quickly. Now, like I just said, you shouldn't see how fast it's adding up, because if you keep an eye on it all the time and you say, hey, I have $30,000 in the bank, you're really going to want to spend that, honestly, especially, if you're an entrepreneur, kind of a, business-minded, younger, trying to grow businesses like myself, so looking at money in an account for me is like looking at potential that's just kind of sitting there stagnant. But that money is going to do a lot more for you than just be a backup. Now, of course, it's going to act as an excellent backup, and you're going to be able to, if you do hit hard times or whatever, you'll be able to have that. But the biggest thing for me personally, at least, is the absolute shift in mentality. And even as an entrepreneur owning multiple businesses, I basically take every dollar that I earn and I reinvest it back in myself and my businesses. So that means my business education, which is just what I'm considering my business education, which is, starting businesses, running businesses, hiring people, and kind of learning on the fly because I didn't get a formal education. I just knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I knew I just wanted to go after it. So, basically almost everything that I earn goes right back into businesses that I already own, businesses that I want to start, hiring people and growing those businesses. So I'm not here pretending to be like, hugely successful, killing it with all this money in the bank and here, do what I'm doing because it's going to be fantastic. This is something, what I do at least, is you have to genuinely enjoy entrepreneurship because, I'm still in a similar position where I'm living, somewhat paycheck to paycheck. Now, mind you, I don't have to be living that way, but I have a feeling that it will all add up. And that's kind of a conversation for another time that we'll get into, perhaps later. But the point is, I'm not absolutely killing it, but having that 10% of everything that I earn, religiously saving 10% of every single thing that I earn, so that's 10 cents for every $1, saving 10 cents for every $1 that I earn, it's given me a completely different mindset, and it's really given me a freedom to feel like I'm okay to basically go spend whatever else I want, because I know for a fact that now I've built up a large enough fallback that, if for whatever reason I am in desperate need of money, I have it there. And just let me tell you, it's hard to explain without actually feeling kind of even the power, if I could say that, of not like knowing you have a backup fund and not actually living paycheck to paycheck where there's literally zero left if you F up, especially as an entrepreneur. Because a lot of times starting out, starting businesses, like, you're going to make mistakes. If you're not making mistakes starting out as a young entrepreneur, you're either not pushing hard enough, or teach me something, because everyone, is going to make mistakes. And so if you're in kind of that mindset and, you're kind of throwing your money around to see what's going to work and see how it plays out. It's a really nerve-wracking feeling. And so I went for a good while where I was just, taking everything, all of my salary, and I was building things after my, regular work hours. I was putting it into businesses that I wanted to grow and, putting my money towards my dreams and growing the things that I wanted to do. But I could tell a huge difference in my mood. From like, when I was broke as hell, when I didn't have like, $30 in my bank account, and I'm waiting for the next paycheck or the next thing to come through that's going to get me by. And I noticed that I was just much more irritable. I wasn't as jovial, wasn't as happy-go-lucky. I'm all still relatively jovial all the time, to be honest with you. But still, I noticed a change in my own personality of, I don't have this, and there's just something, no matter if you're actively thinking about it or not, you're always a little bit stressed in the back of your head. I feel like when you don't have money and like, oh shit, if my car breaks down, or if I'm, driving and I pop a tire and I need to spend $120 on a tire, I'm going to have to do something else. I'm going to have to pull out the credit card or something like that, and that's kind of like it's an unsettling feeling. And I feel like there's a ton of people that go through this unsettling feeling on a day-to-day basis. So the first thing that I, kind of want to preach here on this channel is start with the most simplest thing that you can do and just watch the snowball effect that it will have on your own mentality, and see that, like, as you feel a little more comfortable, like, even if you're living paycheck to paycheck right now, and I can only say this because I've been there, I still really am there. So, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're getting to the end of your paycheck and you got, a couple $100 left in your bank account or less than that, just the feeling of having even $3,000 in a savings account or in that 10% account that you never touch is such a relieving feeling. And honestly, chances are, if you've been living paycheck to paycheck for a long time, you're not going to need to dip into that. And, but just knowing that if you absolutely have to, if you blow a tire going down the road, whatever, if you have to have it, you do have it, is such a relieving feeling. And it's such a feeling of, it absolutely changes your mentality and the way that you even go about spending money. I don't want to say that it makes you less cautious with your money, but from a risk reward perspective of, going off as an entrepreneur, and, there are going to be some monetary risks that you basically are required to take as an entrepreneur. And I found for me personally that it makes it a lot easier when you do have that cushion, and then the rest of it, I always just call it play money. That may not be a good thing to call it, but that's what I've always called it. Anything that I earn beyond that 10%, after I pay my bills and I pay all the other people that want to get paid, that I owe money to, paying for services, everything, bills, car payments, insurance, all the fun stuff. After you pay for everything like that, everything that I have left over, I just consider play money. So I'm like, okay, I have X amount this month, and I'm going to throw this all back into the business. I'm going to throw this all back into my education, and I'm going to throw all of this back into, making something good, making something really cool happen. So that's what I'm going to preach about today. That's kind of the mentality that I want you guys to start thinking about. That's the mentality that I have, and that's, I highly recommend it. And again, I'm not killing it. And I don't have that much in the 10% of everything I earn savings account. But I'll tell you what, just a little bit that I do have has completely changed my mentality, the perspectives, and just kind of the way I go about being an entrepreneur. And I'm a lot more comfortable doing the things that I do, and I feel a lot more confident, because when you're down to your absolute last dollar, it's hard. And it's hard to say, like, hey, I'm going to spend, $600 buying this for my company in the hopes that I can sell this for $900, or these products for $1,000, knowing that it will work, or it has the potential to work, but still, when it hasn't worked, and, you're spending that $600 when you need to, you have a little bit of emergency money. It's something that wears you down as an entrepreneur. So I want to suggest the first thing, if you're going to start on a journey like this, if you have this entrepreneurial mindset, if you're a young kid, whatever, just starting out, no matter when or where you are, the best thing that you can possibly do is start with, no matter how you take your money, 10 cents out of every single dollar you earn. Keep it for yourself. You are the forgotten man. You pay everybody else on the planet, but you don't keep anything for you. Keep money for yourself. Put it in an account that you basically forget about. It's going to absolutely change your mentality. It's going to absolutely change the way that you think and the way that you conduct yourself. You're going to have a lot more confidence. You're going to be a lot more proud of yourself. And it's going to start to turn your psyche into that of an entrepreneur. And that's a really beautiful thing, and it's a really good thing, and it's a great feeling when it really starts happening. I've had the pleasure of witnessing it in myself, still going through, an awesome kind of transitioning phase from, 9 to 5 to full-on entrepreneur, loving what I do every day. And I want everyone to be able to share this feeling as well, if that's something that they want. So thank you guys so much for listening. I genuinely hope you take this to heart. If this is something you already do, let me know in the comments how it's working for you. If you agree that your mentality kind of shifted as this account built up, and if it's not something that you're going to do, get in the comments and tell me why. What do you have against the 10%? I really genuinely appreciate your time. I hope this has brought a little bit of value, or at least given you something to think about moving forward. And again, my name is James Goss. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.